Yeah, coming off the bye week, I thought it was a really good week for us. Honestly, we went Tuesday and Wednesday, kind of shorter practices, but emphasis on development. We got a lot of young guys on this roster. I mean, and they got those guys a ton of turns, and then some of the guys that have gotten a lot of reps through this season, a little bit lighter on their load to get healthy and whatnot. And so focused on that Tuesday, Wednesday, give them a few days off, focused on some school, maybe get a little deep breath away. And then we were back to practice yesterday. That was really our first practice focused on Arizona. Thought it was good energy. I know guys are excited to get another opportunity. So, and that's what we've got this week. Arizona, explosive team, can score a bunch of points in a lot of different ways. Starting at the quarterback position, running back. I mean, shoot, they've been scoring on everybody. So that's going to be a real challenge. But our guys, again, excited to get back on the road. Really looking forward to it.
We might as well start with the news first with Arizona changing coordinators. What goes into the dynamic from your standpoint?
Not a ton. I mean, really, we were focused so much on the tape and what they've done in their games leading up to this, and that's really what you focus on. The schemes they've been running, the players they have. You know, the players are what really counts out there, and so that's our focus.
Have you over your career, have you had much experience going up against a team that just changed coordinators, defensive coordinators, and have you seen? Seems like that tends to give them a jolt of energy from what I've seen.
I think it can. You just don't really know exactly how it all play out. I can't remember a time off the top of my head that there'd been a change and we were the next opponent.
Injuries. You said you did some practicing yesterday. Jefferson and Eldridge.
Yeah. They did a light amount and moved around okay. We'll kind of see how they respond to that and throughout the end of the week. But I'd put them at 50-50, but we'll see how practice goes.
Tago.
Really the same. He did a little bit, not a ton yesterday. I'm trying to add to that as the week goes on and see if we can get him ready.
Smith and Lavaca.
Yeah, both those guys didn't do much yesterday. There's a chance they will Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll have a better idea with Shamar and Gus.
Is anything wrong with Sean Wilson? He didn't play last game.
No, that was a little bit David Morris getting in the mix and J-Mo playing well. But he played a little on teams and just didn't play as much on defense.
I'm going to ask this just because I want to get you on the record because I get this asked all the time. But Jermar Jefferson, there has not been any talk of him redshirting, is there?
There is not. He's anxious to get himself back out there, and we're hoping it's this week.
The fans and the media will ask questions and wonder about Khalil Tate, a player who in 1 year runs all over the place, and then that seems to change. Mm-hmm. From your standpoint, do you just prepare for what he was and what he's currently doing?
Well, you definitely prepare for what he's currently doing. I mean, I watched the tape against Stanford. The guy ripped off like a 60-yard touchdown run. The guy's an explosive player. I think he's throwing it pretty well. I mean, they're throwing it for a good amount of yards, too. The guy's dynamic.
What did you do for the bye?
We, like I said, focused on practicing development. We did some recruiting. Coaches got out on Thursday and Friday and saw some games, got in some schools, which was awesome. And so, yeah, that was my week.
What do you've had now? This will be your third bye you've had as a head coach. What have you learned from the first two that you think you maybe applied to this one here?
Well, I know this one was a little bit different because it was later in the season, and like I said, we had emphasis on the development and really trying to get healthy with some of these guys that have played a lot. So that might have been a little bit different. I know it was different than the first bye week this year. Schedule-wise, pretty similar. Like a couple days of practice during the week, practiced on Sunday, trying to get one added day for the next opponent.
I'm just wondering because last time you had a little bit of momentum going in the break, and then Stanford, you didn't. The first half was not good. Was that just
That's a little Stanford. Yeah, I think that. I don't know if there's a bye week preparation that led to a first half, then we're down. And so each week is new. I do feel like we're coming into this bye or leaving this bye healthy for being after 8 games or going into 8 games.
Kyrie Fisher, you seem like you're getting him on the field a little bit. He hasn't played any on defense, though. Is that correct? Or?
Yeah, he's dealt with a little bit of injury early on here. And then just getting into that rotation, I think those guys are playing pretty good with Shamar and Omar and Avery and Doug. And so that's some of the part of like just getting into that rotation with those guys.
But he's definitely ready. It's just a matter.
Yeah, he's healthy. He has been.
Getting him in the
Yep.
getting him in action. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Coach, what did you make of Simon Sandberg showing up the way? This is our first chance really to talk to you about him down at Cal.
Yeah, I think he did some good things. He helps us at the line of scrimmage. You know, he can hold a point and play physical. So we've liked that out of him. And again, he's still a raw, kind of newer player that'll continue to improve, and he works really hard. Does an awesome job in practice, which I think shows up in the games now that we can get him in more.
This a little bit off the game, but with receivers, I know a lot of people fixate on the receptions and the yards and all, but blocking's obviously a big deal with the receivers. Who's your best blocker from the receiving group?
Yeah, I think a lot of those guys do a good job. I appreciate Hodgins being a huge piece in the blocking game because he does get a bunch of the balls. And I think Champ is fearless in there. He goes in there, throws his body around. Receiver coach Fentz does an awesome job of those guys knowing who they're supposed to be blocking, and they do their part.
As a coordinator or even as coach here, have you ever had a receiver that maybe wasn't the greatest, as far as catching the ball, but you just couldn't keep him off the field because he was such a great blocker?
We used to do a bunch of personnel packages, and so we'd put some guys in, like run plays that we knew they would be doing some blocking. Again, catching the ball is a huge part of playing receiver, but it's not the only thing what you're getting to. And so these guys contribute in blocking or really can open the next guy to them, getting open. That's a skill set that's used besides just catching the ball.
Yeah. Red shirt, you've got Austin's played 3 games and Arnold's played 2. So are you right on the fence with those 2 guys?
Yeah, not really. We're good for those guys to go. I didn't. The opportunity to get them in the game last week didn't, but we're not going to shy away from putting them in.
So at this point, they're not redshirt candidates.
No, we'll see how the next.
If you can play them, you're going to play
Yes,
them.
yes.
Where are you at with Bradford this week? Any chance he'll play?
There is a chance, but he's got to get himself cleared to do it. He moved around a little bit on Sunday, but again, he's had a lot of time off here in regards to if he's going to be primed and ready this week. If we feel like he is, we'll play him.
So, because he said last week he was cleared, so he's not.
Well, he's got to get into some conditioning. Yeah,
Right.
his
So
injury
So
is clear.
he's cleared, but he's not game
Game ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you decide with 5 games to go if he's ready to go? How do you decide which of the
Yeah.
five you play? Which one you play
Right.
him in?
We've been having these conversations. I'm just anxious to get him out there. And if, some of it is the particular team, beyond just offense, how he can contribute on, because he's been a returner for us in special teams. If he's ready to contribute in a lot of phases, we're anxious to get him out there.
It's still down the road, you've got 5 games left, but fans are talking about bowl games. I don't know, do players even bring that up at this point, or
No.
do you need to win a couple more games to even have some?
Yeah.
You shut them down if it comes up, or?
Well, I try to address it right off the top of again, the only thing we control is what right in front of us this Saturday. And that's been the focus, the mantra. I think it's a total waste of time to be thinking about what could, that, and the other. We know we got a great opportunity this Saturday to play a game. We win this game, and that'll continue on. That's really the focus. You get too far ahead, that leads to problems.
No, that was kind of my question, but obviously you take it one game at a time, Coach. But do you have a goal list in the team locker room that guys kind of look up to? You could have 3 wins, got to get 3 more to get to a bowl game, or?
Look, we don't have it in the locker room posted anywhere. Everyone's trying to win every game we play, and if you win enough, you get to go to a bowl game. I'm not trying to say that wouldn't be awesome, but I just know the best way to get there is by focusing on the week at hand and going week by week, and that's been our focus.
I know Nick asked about, seeing a team that you haven't been a team that's made a change or the next opponent, but what do you do? Do you plan for Arizona's defensive schemes the way they've always been this year?
That's the approach we're taking. We're going to watch the tape, and again, I think it's just hard to make wholesale changes in 6-day span. So we're planning on seeing what what they've put on tape and be ready to make some adjustments if it's different in the first quarter.
And what does Arizona like to do and want to do from what you've seen offensively?
Offensively, well, they got a nice mix. I mean, they can balance in regards to throw it and run it. Got a dynamic running back. I think they're playing two quarterbacks now, which do have two different skill sets. The offense isn't totally different when the other guy's in, but they can score in bunches. I mean, you just look at their stats and the tape, and they present some problems.
And to piggyback on Nick's question about receivers, it reminded me back to the UCLA game with Isaiah and becoming an instant DB when you can't make the catch and he slaps the ball away. Do you work on that, or is that just something that coaches will remind receivers?
That's an instinct. That was an instinct by him. We don't totally work on batting the ball down in that instance. We do talk about if a receiver's running a go route and the ball's not in a space where he's going to catch it, DB has a better chance. You turn into the DB. And that was a huge play in that game. First drive, I think it was second or third play. He broke up a turnover, ended up scoring on the drive.
Has Anjay been able to do anything on the field?
No.
So at this point, with 5 games left, he's just not going to play this year.
We'll see. I mean, again, we got some time here with the 3 weeks, but no, he's been healing up. He hasn't been out on the practice field. He's been doing some conditioning,
So he has done
that kind of thing. Yeah, he's not on crutches still. He's walking around and all that. There's still a chance.
Any other questions?
Okay.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.